Okay, having been in the E-Tron, having driven the E-Tron, let me get into the EQC, and just to refresh my memory, you can easily find out how a car drives if you do them back to back. Even though I've driven this for many years, many months. Ooh, stop that. So it's the same quietness that welcomes you as it is in the E-Tron. But the design, the combination of the design right here, it's just easier to the eyes. It's more subtle, it's softer compared to the structured and rigidity of the E-Tron. I don't know whether you know what I'm talking about, but I think I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go. I put this in reverse. Make sure you don't crash into the wall right there. By the way, the EQC is a faster car. It does 0 to 62 miles an hour in about 5.1 seconds. It's about 5.2 seconds or 5.1. On the other hand, we have the E-Tron doing the same amount of distance in about, just bear with me, in about 6.6 seconds. So it's a bigger car, but it's slower. But the EQC speed limit is limited to around 115. The E-Tron around 125 miles per hour. So this is what I'm talking about. Look at that. My sunglass compartment. Thank you very much. That's one of my favorite features in the EQC. Do I look cool? Yeah, it's not about coolness. It's about making sure that the sunshine doesn't become a distraction. So getting out of my driveway, which is a bit hilly, so you're going against the hilly part, you can tell that the EQC has more torque, which is about 500 as opposed to around 400 something, 490 or something, 490 for the E-Tron. This also has more horsepower, as far as I know, so it's quicker from the start, and that is why it's a little bit more effortless when I was reversing. Just like I was going to have to put more gas into the E-Tron to get the back out of my driveway. But what I want to pay attention to is the quietness, because I just test drove the E-Tron, so I'm going to go through the same route. I'll go around the roundabout as I did with the E-Tron. So straight away, the EQC feels like a lighter car after you've been on the E-Tron. Yes, you feel lighter, you feel more compact, and the steering wheel is more engaging towards you. Somehow the steering wheel communicates with you and it interacts with you a bit more. And the entire layout is of course familiar to me, but it just feels more relaxing to look at and to be in. So I'm going to go on the 70 mile an hour on the motorway. I'm going to listen carefully to compare the road noise, the tire noise, or the wind noise. So as far as I'm concerned, I want to be in the EQC, even though it's a lovely place to be, the E-Tron. So just being sincere, I want to live in the EQC. I mean, not live there forever. This is where I'd rather be. You know, the car is superb. It drives very well. And if you put it on sport mode, just like as it is in the E-Tron. It becomes more sporty to drive, the steering wheel is more weighted, and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to do that right now because I've done that several times. I don't want to waste my electricity. Don't want to waste my range. So now I'm just joining the motorway. I want to listen carefully to the road noise. You could also tell that the EQC is a quicker car. And it's just slightly lighter. I don't know why, but of course it's not as heavy, but there's not a lot in between the two cars, but this drives slightly lighter. So I can still hear the wind noise, but it just feels, as I've mentioned already, that the EQC is slightly quiet.
Just the one problem to tell you about, that's because
it's slightly quieter. I think because the E-Tron, it has a 21-inch wheels, so that might have affected the road noise because a bigger tire. So I could hear the tire noise more in the E-Tron. But my car is fitted with 19-inch wheels, so that means that there's less drag. Sorry, there's less road noise. Well, that's my theory. I mean, the tire noise, rather, less tire noise, because it's not as big. Having said that, I don't think it affected the comfort level, the 21-inch alloy wheels of the E-Tron. But driving on the motorway, you can just tell that the EQC is quieter. The road noise is minimal. It's very windy today, but I just drove the E-Tron. Now I'm driving the EQC, and you can tell that the EQC protects you away from the world just a little bit more. There's not a lot in there, but I can hear more noise. I could hear more noise when I was driving the E-Tron. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that the brake of the E-Tron is keener. It's more keen. So I found myself doing almost an emergency stop because I wasn't used to it. Now I'm used to the E-Tron brake. The EQC brake. And now that I'm back in the EQC, I could tell that perhaps the E-Tron brake was keener. That does not mean it's more efficient, but it's just like you have to apply maybe less effort to it to stop it. Because it's a bigger car, perhaps it needed more responsive brake. But the E-Tron brake the EQC brake is absolutely sufficient. So interesting. I've test driven these two cars before, but this is giving me other perspectives because of the experience that I've gathered in the EQC in the last 8 months. Now, let's see how this deals with the corner. Yeah, it deals with the corner, okay. But I would have preferred my seats right here to come out again, just like they come out a little bit more, just like we have in the E-Tron, so that when you're going around the corner, it kind of pushes it back. Maybe there's a technology of that. I know there's some cars that actually have the moving parts of the seat that we have to get triggered and move into the other direction. Maybe the E-Tron has that, but you could tell that even though the E-Tron is a bigger car, it seems to handle better on corners. There's not a lot in between them, but I could notice that straight away. But this is a more agile car to drive for some reason, because it's heavy as well. It's almost 2.5 tons, but not as heavy as as E-Tron, as the E-Tron. So what's my recommendation? My recommendation is a 500 liters of boot space is good enough for you. If you don't need a whole bunch of trips to IKEA or to other places where you buy big stuff that you load into the cars. If you prefer luxury, comfort, and a very, very relaxing cabin, you want to be thinking about the EQC. But if you like a bigger space, you like build quality, everything is strong, sturdy, everything feels well joined together, but a little bit more transactional, more work oriented as opposed to fun oriented, maybe you want to consider the E-Tron. Also, you have to pay more if you're going for the sportback version. Pay more for a car that is not winning on all important categories. It wins on boot space. It's not winning on range. It's not winning on luxury feel, on comfort feel. It wins on corners, as far as I'm concerned, because of the seats, the way the seat is arranged. And wins in build quality because everything you touch is strong. Not that this place, the EQC doesn't have the adequate build quality, but you could tell that the way things are put together here is softer. Maybe because of the materials used. Not that things are falling off, by the way, don't get me wrong. This is an over £65,000 car, so it should reflect an adequate build quality. But when you compare the way things are put together between the two cars, you will give it to the E-Tron if you sit in there. So in terms of style, the features of textures, and the way the design, the cabin just makes you feel. You want to give it to Mercedes all day long, and it's quieter for some reason. I've just used the same routes that I drove the E-Tron in a few minutes ago. So there's a camera angle I couldn't get on the E-Tron because I was using my phone for this wide angle camera angle, but I didn't press record when I was driving the E-Tron. But hopefully it's recording now for me in the EQC, so it could have given me a wider angle view with the video, but I don't know whether this one is actually recording. It might not be recording. When you have 2 or 3 cameras, you end up not turning one on because you're too distracted. So far so good. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. So let me know how you feel about the review today. What's your thoughts process? Do you like the EQC or do you prefer the E-Tron? So let me know. Please subscribe and like it if you've enjoyed it today. So I don't get tired driving the EQC, not at all. I don't get tired. And one thing that I also want to mention is that this car doesn't have, it's not fitted with air suspension. I don't know whether there's an option for that, but the suspension system that's on this car is adequate. Oh, it soaks up bumps massively. And I noticed that when I was driving the E-Tron, I could see the difference straight away. That the suspension unit in the EQC is a little bit better than that one, the one installed in the E-Tron. I don't know whether that's an air suspension. I think that's an upgrade. But the standard suspensions that are fitted in the E-Tron that I just test drove seems to, it's as adequate, absolutely adequate and perfect and wonderful, but you could just feel a little bit of a cushion, an extra cushion, when you drive the EQC. Some people prefer their suspension system not to be too firm, but the E-Tron suspension seems to be firmer, so it goes through bumps in a way that makes you to feel it. But this one's kind of you can just hear the noise that it's gone over something, but you don't actually feel it in your bum, in your bottom. It's incredible. It's just gone over something. You can hear it, but you don't feel anything. Not that you feel a lot in the E-Tron as well. So it's a very capable car, which I believe many people would choose instead of this one because of all the priorities, the other features that people prefer. And so people don't just like Mercedes. Some people prefer other cars a little bit more understated. So what do you think? It's Walla Ladipo. Hopefully I'm going to hear some of your comments down below. I'm going to be answering comments. So this is the conclusion of today's review. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Walla Ladipo. Let me know what you think, whether or not you disagree with my review, and what you would choose if money was not an option. Within these two cars, what would you choose? Which one would you choose? Would you choose that one right there? Or would you choose this one that I'm driving right here? Let me know which one you'd rather choose. Thank you so much. All the very best. Mm-hmm.